What is WISP and why is it super important for your MSP? And in this video, we're going to be breaking down what is it, do you need to do it, who needs it, who makes it, and why is it important to cover your rear end. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or even some business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to ask you to head over to our website, growth-generators.com. And at our website, you're going to see a couple different things. You're going to see our programs. We are actually at 179 members at the time of recording this, which is insane for the MSP heroes, but that's not what I want to drag you to. I want you to go check out the Discord. The Discord is truly an incredible community. We have over 1,000 people in here. There's news, there's chats that is extremely active. We are only 10 members away from 1,100 members in the Discord. And truthfully, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased. It's one of the most active communities on the internet. So it doesn't matter if you're starting an MSP or you are established in the 7-figure mark MSP. It's a great place to share your information, learn from other people, and get help when you actually need it. So head over to growth-generators.com under resources or growth-generators.com/Discord to go join the completely free Discord. So let's talk about a WISP. What is a WISP? A WISP is a written information security program. That's quite literally what it is. It is a documented plan that outlines a company's security policies, procedures, and controls. Very important to have those three in there. Now, for those of you that are experts, I know that this goes a little bit deeper than what I'm going to be doing on this video, but this is really important for people to know about because some industries require it, some industries don't require it. And we're going to be talking about that. Industries that do absolutely require a WISP, healthcare. Obviously, we got HIPAA, finance, legal, and any business handling sensitive information. Even the IRS requires certain accounting firms to have a WISP in place. So there's some key components here that I want to cover. There's specifically 6 of them that are going to help you, right? And this is something that your MSP can build, can sell, and I'm going to get through that in the video. But there are 6 main components of a WISP. Does that mean that that's the most you can have? Absolutely not. But it is a really good foundational starting point for you, right? So number 1 is the data classification. We need to figure out what data actually needs to be protected, right? We don't need to protect how many times the cleaning people came in the building to clean the building, right? If they're not going on the computers and the computers are locked, we probably don't need that information, right? But what we do need is, especially for HIPAA, right? Patient identifying information is really important. So keep that in mind with what the data is actually being protected. If it's finance, right, it could be people's finances, legal, could be the legal battles, right, that people are going through. But it's important to know what data actually needs to be protected before anything else. Next, number 2 is the access controls. And no, not the badge that you're going to swipe to get into the building, but more importantly, who can actually access this data. It's wildly important. We need to know because I'm sure at least I read it as a kid. It's a little kid's book called Who Put the Pepper in the Pot? And it was just about how nobody was around and they would all put a little dash of pepper in, and too many hands in the pot is a bad thing. We have to limit who has access to this data, right? We need to be able to not only limit who has access to this data, but we also need to write down who actually has the access. Because if everyone has access, there's way too many things that can happen. And yes, there's things that we could do to track it. That's not the point of this video. But the point of the video is to put down on there, hey, these are the people that have access to it. And yes, it does need to be updated when there's new people being added or removed to that access. Number 3, cybersecurity policies. What are the policies that you actually have in place? This could be password policies, right? How the password needs to be built, encryption, firewalls, whatever it is, you have to have cybersecurity policies in place. And I know this goes significantly deeper. So my cybersecurity folk out there, please don't come after me. This is just for an overview video for YouTube. Okay. And then number 4, an incident response plan. If stuff hits the fan, right? What happens in the case of a data breach? we need to know these things, right? Not only do we need to know what's going to happen, how it's going to be responded to, and what is the appropriate response. As many of you guys know, I'm a longtime fireman, and we have incident response plans for everything from a plane crash to a house fire to a car accident. You name it, it is something that we have, and we all have to have it memorized for the most part. In this case, you need to write it down, especially if there is an outside agency that could say, hey, show me what the process and the plan actually is. Number five, and there's no amount of coffee on this planet that can get anybody excited for this. And cheers, by the way. But that is employee training. I know, crickets. But I say that lovingly. Nobody wants to do security awareness training, but it is super, super, super important to do security awareness training, especially for the people, for everybody in the organization, but also even more so for the people that are a part of the team that has access to this data, right? And security awareness training could be simply locking your computer when you get up. It could be changing your password every certain amount of days. It could be just going through phishing training, right? And even sending out phishing emails so they're constantly being on the kind of ready for it. And then number 6 is third-party risk management. And if you think, Harrison, that's a load of garbage, I don't I don't have any influence in those companies. Yeah, well, welcome to this, because it's not the most fun. And I've actually had to write a policy before, and it sucks. I've had to review policies before, but a third-party risk management is something you're going to have to do. You have to see their security policies, see if they match. Now, thankfully, most other vendors in that niche that you're working in probably are well aware that they need to be held to a certain level, right? So if they're dealing with information about HIPAA, they are probably already HIPAA compliant as well. So it does make your life a bit easier, but hey, you still got to keep a watchful eye on them. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, I would truly appreciate a like, subscribe, notification bell, and also for the people that have the OGs, something is going on. I apologize for having to upload this video now 3 times. I recorded it last night. I made sure I recorded the right video and uploaded the right video. Something with YouTube made it go into a different video. I've deleted all the videos on my computer. I'm re-recording this the morning of. I apologize again. Thank you. So, why is WISP actually important, right? We've already talked about what goes into it and who needs it and all that kind of stuff, but you need it for regulatory compliance. Truth be told, right? Many laws and regulations require a lot of businesses to have a WISP. And truth be told, also, even if there's not sensitive data, it's probably not the worst thing to have to a degree, right? This includes FTC safeguard rules for financial institutions, including your MSP in many cases. HIPAA for healthcare providers, obviously, and IT service providers, right? But you're handling patient information, EMRs, electronic medical records. You may have access to those computers. And guess what? You might need to be compliant too. CMMC for government contractors and also the MSPs working in there, especially when it comes to DoD clients, which is pretty much all of CMMC, and then GDPR. Now, truth be told, I don't know that much about EU consumer data. I've done a little bit of learning on it, but I'm not an expert on it. But I do know that GDPR is no joke. How it impacts the United States is a bit different. It's more about what you do with the data, whether even if it's just subscribers and that kind of thing. So if you're in the EU, do some research on GDPR. I know it's not something to mess with at all. So how do we actually, what else does it do, right? It protects against cyber threats. And what we have to do is we have to roll these out and implement them and teach them to our customers, because a WISP ensures that cybersecurity policies are in place to help prevent data breaches, phishing attacks, ransomware incidents, and truthfully, anything that is going to make you tear whatever hair you have left in your head out. It stinks. It's not a fun thing. This is not like a super sexy topic I get to talk about here, but it is what it is. But the benefit to you and your MSP, truthfully, is we don't want to open ourselves to lawsuits and legal, right? The more monthly recurring revenue we can keep in our pocket, the better. So this helps mitigate the amount of fines, lawsuits, and reputational damages we might have to deal with. And some insurance companies may even require a WISP to provide cyber liability insurance coverage. So this isn't something like, oh, maybe I could do it, maybe I couldn't do it. You have to check with their carrier. Your carrier might require you to have it, but their carrier might require them to have it in order to pay you if there is something that actually happens, right? God forbid. So, how can you use a WISP as a service? And this is something that's always how to make money at the end of the video, but you have to assess the client's needs. It's important to know if that client needs it. In many cases, most of your customers should know that they need some kind of WISP. If they don't, it's your job as the MSP, unfortunately, to do the homework. And you have to review the current compliance requirements for their industry. So if you're niching down, it becomes a little bit easier. But if you're more of a generalist, it could be a real pain in the rear end, right? You want to make sure that you create a WISP for that client. You can use there are plenty of pre-built templates. Your insurance companies may even offer them, right? Depending on what it is, but you want to match those policies, right? Or that WISP to those policies and make sure that it matches the size of the business and the industry of the business. And make sure it aligns with NIST or CIS or ISO frameworks. There's plenty of those out there. You can do your own homework on those. But if your WISP doesn't cover that, you could be in some pretty hot water. Step number 3 is you're going to implement the security controls. Just like we're building out that WISP, you're going to follow that whole thing. You have to set up multi-factor authentication, endpoint protection, backups, SIEM monitoring. The list can go on and on and on. But we have to also train the employees, not just their employees, but your employees. It breaks my heart when I hear an MSP that gets hacked, truthfully, because it's a lot of businesses that can be involved, right? And then those businesses, people, it's kind of spreads and spider webs out. And you want to make sure that third party providers are also in compliance with those standards as well. And then you have to update and maintain this. Annual reviews are important, but depending on when it is, I'm currently recording this video in the beginning of March. HHS or Department of Human Health Services just released more updates on HIPAA the other day. So you you might need to visit them more often than annually. Could be quarterly, could be every 6 months, but you can't turn a blind eye once you are involved in this. It is really, really important. And you could also offer this as an ongoing monitoring. It's also a great way to get in and offer your services because it could add new revenue streams. It could build client retention. I've talked a lot about being sticky in the past and making it just a little bit harder for your clients to leave. Not impossible, but harder, right? And they're like, well, they're doing a good job. But on the flip side of things, if you do help your clients become compliant and they're not getting hacked and they're not getting fined, you've probably earned a customer for the better part of 20 years because I've said it in the videos in the past, a new customer is worth 7 to 20 years of monthly recurring revenue. It's also going to help you differentiate from your competitors. Most people don't do this. It is a giant pain in the butt to deal with, but you can upsell these, you can roll them out. It opens up plenty of doors and you have to check it on a fairly regular basis. If you don't, things could fall by the wayside and that's the last thing we want. So I hope you guys found some value in this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I apologize, it's not the sexiest topic, but I have seen people getting more and more into compliance. This is almost like the first step, and laying this out and following the action plan is super, super important. I apologize about the YouTube videos. Hopefully it's smooth sailing from here on out. I promise you I exported it correctly and uploaded the right file twice. I double checked it. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's a YouTube problem or a me problem, but thank you guys for letting me know between the emails, the DMs, the tags on the Discord. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys.